What is up, Farmer family? How y'all doing today? Today, we are checking out the Ronbus Pulsar FX series. I got the R1, the R2, and the R3. A couple things I want to let y'all know. The R1 and the R3 are the same length, so they are both technically elongated. The R1 just technically has the top corners cut off, or the bunny ears cut off on it. Now, I'm not going to go through the specs. I'm going to leave it popped up on the screen randomly throughout the video. Just know the R2 is a wide body and the other two are elongated. They all three have the edge permeable grid on the edge that keeps it from core crushing. And all three of them have a new grid layering system under the raw carbon fiber that makes the ball dwell longer and produce more power. AKA, it causes the trampoline effect. But yeah, let's get into the RPMs, the swing weights, which are very important, the twist weight, and all those good numbers. I also have a code for this company. It's FarmerPB. If you use that at checkout, you'll get $20 off your order. First off, let's talk about the pop. Okay, with the new grid on there, I noticed when playing with it that the ball does dwell. This is not a stiff face at all. It definitely causes the trampoline effect. It's not a crazy drastic trampoline effect, but it is definitely there. I don't think that this is going to be anywhere near as poppy as like the Black Diamond Infinity, the Gearbox Power Pro Elongated, or the new, Yolas or anything like that. So just be aware of that. If you're wanting a really poppy paddle, this one isn't going to be for you. This one has a decent amount of dwell time when the ball hits the paddle. Now, in terms of power, I'm going to talk about the R1 and the R3. Okay, when you're swinging them with a full swing, these are definitely leaning more towards the power paddle, section. Basically, when you're swinging, the ball sits in the paddle face and then just launches off of it. Okay, and then when it comes to the FX2, this is easily the most powerful wide body paddle that I've used. With other wide body paddles, you will figure out when doing overheads and stuff like that, that they lack a significant amount of power for putaways. But with this one, this is the closest that I have felt to a hybrid shape when putting overheads away. And yes, this is a wide body, but it does tend to have a hybrid shape power on overheads and serves, to be honest, versus with your regular wide bodies like the Volair Mach 2 Forzas and the other paddles like that. They're not going to have the put away power or the serve power that this one has. Now, when it comes to control, I felt the control wasn't even all the way across the board. I felt like dinks, drop, and stuff without a lot of pace was a lot easier to control and did it with minimal effort, to be honest. But then when people put, overheads and stuff like that, stuff where pace was coming, onto the paddle, the ball would sit a little bit longer and then launch off of it at a faster rate. So I would have to be a little more careful when people were trying to do overheads, speed ups, and stuff like that. But once again, it is nothing like the Gearbox Power Elongated or the new Yola. So that's nothing to really worry about. If you played with any of the Gen 2 paddles, this is going to be controllable. It's simple as that. When it comes to the spin, the R1 got 2030. The R2 got 2089. And the R3 got 2046. Okay, basically these performed in the top tier in terms of spin from the paddles that I have reviewed so far. And what I've noticed is I do get a tiny bit more spin on these wide body paddles. I don't know if it's the swing weight and I'm able to, put more top spin. Not really sure, but I've noticed that has been a trend. Although these numbers, you heard me, they're literally within like 20 of each other. So it's basically linear, between all three of them. You're not going to be able to tell a difference. Just know the spin's definitely there. The balls are going to dip for you. When it came to the swing weights, the R2 had a 113 swing weight. The R1 had a 119 swing weight. And the R3 had a 122 swing weight. So basically the R1 and the R3 are performing right on par with all the other elongated paddles. The R1 is a little bit lighter than the R3 and some of the other elongated paddles. So if you're still wanting elongated with a slightly lighter swing weight, that one could be for you. Now, when it comes to the R2, this is the heaviest swinging hybrid shape that I've used so far. Well, besides the Gherkin, and their wide body is 118 swing weight. But yeah, the swing weight's still pretty light on this wide body paddle, and it's light enough to where I would use it, or I do use it interchangeably with the Mach 2 as my main paddle. The swing weight is still easy for literally 99.9% of the people to use. So in terms of these paddles, I would recommend the FX2 to most people. Now, when it came to the weight of these paddles, the FX2 weighed 8.2 ounces and the FX1 and the 3 weighed 8.3 ounces apiece. Like y'all know, I don't really care much about the overall weights. I care more about the swing weight and the twist weight. But right there's the overall static weight of the paddles, y'all. Now, when it comes to the twist weight, the R1 and the R3 were almost identical. The R3 was 6.20 and the R1 was 6.24. And then the R2 had a 7.01 twist weight. So basically, these paddles played right where they're expected to play in terms of twist weight. The wide body paddle plays like a wide body paddle in terms of twist weight. The long elongated ones have similar twist weights to the elongated ones. Nothing's really changed there. Now, in terms of sweet spot, I do feel that the R1 sweet spot is slightly bigger than the R3 sweet spot. I felt like that on the previous versions. Now, the R2 sweet spot is massive. That's what you get with wide bodies. So if you're wanting something with a massive sweet spot that's going to be easier, you know, to actually hit the sweet spot, get you a wide body. But if you're wanting an elongated paddle with more power that you're probably going to play singles for, get you an R1 or an R3. In terms of value for your money, these are $180 paddles. And then with my discount, it gets them even cheaper. So yeah, I easily recommend this, but the one I recommend is the FX2. If you're going to go elongated, I would recommend the R1, but overall, I would preach to the choir about getting the FX2. I love the paddle. Anytime I'm, wanting to bring out my serious tournament paddle, I either go to that or the Volair Mach 2 Forza. Both of them are high quality. But yeah, definitely get the FX2 if you're going to get one. It's that simple. But until next time, stay safe, have a good day, drink plenty of water. Peace, y'all.